February 6th, 2003, 50 Cent releases his debut studio album, Get Rich or Die Tryin', on Shady Records. Classic.
Classic.
Whole lot of classics on this. It sold a whopping 872,000 copies in its first week, eventually selling 12 million copies by the end of the year. I know at this point, I think it's gone 8 times platinum in the US, and I think it's sold like 15 or 16 in the world, which is a lot of records. But huge record, man. Huge debut record also, by the way. Let's not even forget that was his debut like label record. But even though it was his debut, he had at the time been making noise in the streets for about 3 years prior. You know, this wasn't like his very first run. So after being shot 9 times in the hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and face on May 24th, 2000, his original debut album called Power of the Dollar, which was under Columbia, was shelved, and his contract with Columbia was terminated. He was blacklisted from the industry at the time after the release of his song Ghetto Quarren, which name dropped a ton of people that 50 remembered from his early years in Queens, including the notorious gangster and drug lord Kenneth McGriff, who was of the Supreme Team, which was an 80s drug gang. So he was blacklisted from the industry, and he actually wasn't allowed to record in any studios in the US, so he had to go to Canada. And the industry wasn't accepting him at that point. This was still 2000, 2001. So 50 had no other option but to turn it to the streets, you know, and turn it. And what he did from there on was pretty game-changing. So in 2002, he released his mixtape, Guess Who's Back, which consisted of songs from the Power of the Dollar album and some other freestyles over hits at the time. You know, that was his big thing. Him and the G Unit were freestyling over, you know, beats and calling out people like crazy. That was his thing. He's just picking beef with anyone and anyone. So this caught the attention of Eminem at the time. The same year in 2002, Em and Dre reached out to him, invited him to California, ended up signing him to a $1 million deal to Shady Aftermath under Interscope Records. So that was a big turning point in the career of 50. Then in 2002, 50 and G Unit, his crew, released 3 other mixtapes after Guess Who's Back. And these mixtapes frequently remixed popular songs at the time, like I said, and created immense notoriety for him. And he's widely credited for changing the mixtape culture.
Yeah, he definitely
in the United States, and just the way how it worked out. Gangsta Grills, or DJ Drama, who created Gangsta Grills, you know, legendary producer, categorizes the mixtape game as before 50 and after 50. That's the way he looks at it, 2 times. He actually said, quote, in an interview, "Mixtapes destroy the demo tape. Nobody cared about your demo tape anymore. It was like, what are you doing with your mixtape and how are the streets selling? You know, no one really cared about your demo tape anymore." And we've seen, you know, the impact that it's had, because artists after that, like Wayne, Drake, Jeezy, you know, T.I., they kind of copied this format and started releasing a ton of mixtapes.
Even
you know,
J. Cole too.
J. Cole too, yeah. Like Wayne went on his like frenzy, releasing like maybe 6 mixtapes before. Like I think between the Carter 1 and the Carter 3, which was like 4 years, he had like 6 mixtapes. He went off. And that's some of his best work, but I'm a Wayne fan, so. But it's this, they all took 50's format, you know, copied his format and played a big influence. So as each tape dropped, he gained more popularity by calling out other rappers, like I said, picking beef with anyone and whoever wants it. You know, everyone remembers the Ja Rule beef.
Oh,
kind of
that joint gonna take to the grave.
What
kind of
beef
put it a little,
can we not remember with 50?
Exactly. He did some damage.
He had a beef with a game. I watched a video about that, you know, a whole hour and a half video on his beef with the game. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. Is it? I didn't know the game was G Unit.
Yeah, I know
it was
today, actually.
Me too. I found out last night that the game was actually G Unit. That's crazy.
It is crazy, man.
Well, you forgot it was
Lloyd
50
Banks.
Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Slow Bucks.
Yeah.
Rhyme to his debut album was haunted by the murder of the man who found him, Run DMC's Jam Master Jay, who, you know, kind of found Jay-Z in the early 90s, or in the late 90s, and he actually taught 50 how to count bars and format songs, and kind of took him to a spot, took him to a much more, like to a higher level than he was at the time in the late 90s. It's believed that the hit was actually intended for 50, and I was reading something that at a show, like right after that, the police came up to 50 in Queens and they told him not to go on because they're afraid that there's violence that's going to happen and that just, because they thought it was intended for him. But anywho, let's get back to the album at hand that we're talking about, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. So on January 7, 2003, 50 released the single In the Club. Produced by Dre. This topped the Billboard charts, and it's arguably 50's biggest hit to this day. I mean, he's got a handful of hits, and this might be one of the biggest hits to this day.
Facts.
Fast forward a month later, he released the album February 6th with two other top 5 Billboard hits at the time, with PIMP and 21 Questions.
About me, but you can't get $1 out of me. Hey, that's to y'all girls out here that be gold digging. That's the anthem here.
Classic,
21
man.
Questions is extreme classic.
That what? Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down
Sample
and out? Would you still have love for me? Nah, maybe out here singing out here on the Real Show for sure.
Not only those two, man. There was other notable songs. Patiently Waiting featuring M, which we're gonna play beforehand, but we got a little carried away.
I know.
It's all good. If I Can't, and of course the anthem Many Men.
Many men,
Paints a vivid
many,
picture
many, many,
of
many
the day that
men.
he was shot 9 times and his reflections of the event. And he said it in the quote, one of the quotes of the song. It's got a lot of notable lyrics in it, but one that I like. In the Bible, it says, "What goes around comes around." Hamo shot me 3 weeks later, and he got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a
Real reason, cause he got hit like
I got hit,
but
but
he
he ain't
breathing. Many men.
Oh man.
Ooh, I'm glad you picked that line up, bro. You did your homework.
Later in his biography, he had an autobiography that he wrote, and he said, "After I got shot 9 times at close range and I didn't die, I started to think that I must have a purpose in life. Like, how much more damage could the shell have done? Give me an inch in this direction or that one, and I'm gone." And it's crazy that he only had a walker for 6 weeks, and he was fully recovered after 5 months for being shot 9 times at point blank.
Yeah, it was point blank range
That's
too.
what like trips my mind
It's
up. 'Cause I'm
insane.
like, is this man Iron?
Nah, it seems like it. It seems like he has an angel that watches over him. You notice when he beefs with other people, it don't pan out for them guys that he beefing with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like almost like he just has like some I don't know, somebody looking over him. I would say, you know what I'm saying, to put it into more context.
That's
It probably was
That's
against
crazy.
against the angel. He trying to get his wings.
No, that's how it be. You feel me? That's how it be.
Regardless, this was a hip-hop changing album. I would say it was huge for the streets. 50 changed the kind of changed hip-hop in the game of mixtapes. He really popularized mixtapes in the 2000s going forward. And I think a question that we should ask from this is this the greatest debut rap album of all time? Is there a stronger album than this? 872,000.
I don't think so. I mean, when I look at, there's a lot of great debut albums. Kendrick's debut album was
Section 80, I think.
okay. That wasn't as good. I thought it was How to Pimp a Butterfly. Not Good Kid, Mad City, but I guess it's not.
I don't know. I've heard some people call Section 80 a mixtape, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't. It's hard for me to think of anyone that's bigger than this because when this joint hit the streets was on fire. I'm from Brooklyn, but my siblings on my dad's side. Shout out to all my siblings. First of all, shout out to all my siblings, whether whose side you're on, mom's side, dad's side. Shout out to all my siblings. And my siblings on my dad's side, they Queens. They Queens babies. They from Queens. They still live in Queens to this day. Most of them, outside my other brother who in California right now, but most of them they was in Queens, and so I used to go to Queens all the time because I used to hang out with my siblings. So my dad used to drop me off on the weekends, and when I went to Queens. And I hear that, what up, cuz, huh? What up, gangsta? We don't play that. When I tell you Queens was popping when this joint hit the streets. It was. And the fact of the matter is, 50 Cent, he had his joints bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
All his mixtapes, he would take hooks from artists and hop on them hooks. And that's how he really got blown up. Like, he was like, listen, I'm going to take your favorite artist hooks and I'm going to get on it. And it's gonna be better than your favorite artist hook, and that's exactly what he did. And that the album was anticipated. I would say, to answer your question, now that I think about it, it might be in the top 5. Illmatic, Nas might be the best. First of all, to me, that was the best hip hop album ever. So I think that was probably that would top that, but because both albums is definitely good. I say Nas Illmatic for sure, but this right here, I mean, this was crazy. This album was off the hook. I like a lot of songs on it. I like the one with Eminem, What Up Gangsta, Many Men. There's a lot of songs I like about this. I had a list over here. I can't find it right now. There's a lot of songs that I like about, In the Club. Obviously, that's probably his most successful one. I think that made the most money. In the Club.
I forgot the melody of that real quick.
You find me in the club. Hey, that's right there.
The video was just interesting. He was like running on the treadmill with all them packets. He come flipping from upside
down. I remember when I was young and I seen that. I'm like 50s.
Was like,
almost like that? Jesus, almost like this guy's raised from the dead.
First of all, he was buff. He was just like,
yeah. Listen, man.
Daddy.
And then dang.
Sorry. Let's just be honest. The elephant in the room.
The elephant. Boy. Oh my gosh.
Shout out Fifth, man. Pause.
Clever 50. Clever 50. You know what I'm saying? Clever 50. I mean,
It's a different time, man. You go to the bodega and you get all your bootleg. Man, we live in, music is very accessible now, but it was so different back then.
Nah, listen. I think 50 Cent, first of all, 50 Cent is in my top 10 of all time. 50 Cent is in my top 10 of all time. Personally, I think his impact on rap, he changed the trajectory of rap. He just him on the streets was just, everybody was in their car blasting his joints, man. I could just remember it as I was growing up. And he had one of the greatest reigns in hip hop from 2003 till I believe 2006. And that's when Kanye started to come into the fold, and Kanye became one of the hottest rappers out as well. But man, 50 Cent, bro, he just had that aura about him, man. And he's very good on hooks. You ever hear 50 Cent? When he says a hook, it's like you feel it. You know what I'm saying? I say hands up. Yo, like his hooks is dope.
Would you consider him retired? He haven't put out anything in a minute. Like he haven't been featured on anything.
I think, doesn't he have an album coming out?
I'm not
doing
too
some
sure.
research and I saw something about release date to be announced.
He's been into the music scene,
He
but
been
like,
hearing out.
I mean, I don't want to count the intro to because that was a song, but I don't really want to count the intro to Power for real.
They say this is a big bitch town. Speaking of Power, that will be on this Saturday. We're gonna find out who really shot Ghost. Even though I think it's Tasha who did it, but we'll find
This is
out.
what Wikipedia says: Street King Immortal. Release date, to be honest, label G Unit.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna talk about this moment real quickly. So, prom night. Shout out to my boy Fritzner, the Bell, because that's exactly. It was just me and my bro. We just was like, alright, we're gonna pop out to prom together. No big deal. Just me and him. We just pop out, just steal the show, whatever. We like crashing shows. We like.
We gonna steal the show.
We gonna steal the show. Nah, I mean that's what we do here. The real Lil does it big. For those of y'all who know me. So I remember my brother too. Shout out to him, Fahim. He picked us up, and we was on our way to prom, and he was dropping us off there. And my brother had a 50 Cent song blasting. I'm the Man, 50 Cent and Sunny Digital, and that was just the perfect way to enter prom, having that song blast. I'm the man, and you dressed up.
Wait,
and you,
that song.
Exactly.
I'm the man.
Yeah.
Yo, that's the song.
That's a fact.
Honestly, you have to bleep it because it's
Bro.
verses in the beginning. But
Bro, I'm in my tuxedo.
I'm about to download that.
The window was wide down. There's girls walking up the street, and I'm looking fly, and they looking at me, and the song is blasting. I'm the man. I will forever love 50 Cent for that.
Put that in the car. Oh my god.
Oh my god. You gonna say the
God.
Nah, I mean, you gotta fix the bow tie. Nah,
Your real Leo, come on.
y'all know.
Leo, is that you?
Nah, I mean, it was. Bro, I felt like a celebrity, bro, that day, bro. I came into prom, bro. The doors opened up slowly. My tuxedo flipped in the air, like the jacket just flew. And the wind came, and I was just like, yeah, it's your boy Real Lil, know what I mean?
Honestly, I picture this whole moment in slow motion.
Bro, slow motion just came in there.
I don't even that picture in this like.
Now I mean, I stood. I took the pictures. I like move. Everybody party like the Red Sea. I went up the steps. I took pictures, bro. My brother was my cameraman. Now I mean, I was over here like. Now I mean, taking pictures and all that, my bro.
What's up with me and all this onomatopoeia over here?
Now that's a fact.
You gotta be doing that.
Yo.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yo, shout out to 50 Cent,
Wish I
bro.
could roll my tongue.
50 Cent was a,
Yo, that song was lit. I don't care what nobody say. That song.
bro, that was a hot song. I was a senior in
I'm
high
the
school. I
man.
was in prom. What this week in hip hop history today?
That
It
was
was a good one, man. I enjoyed
Oh
it.
wow.
That was a good one.
What?
Got a knock.
Oh
Got a knock.
man.
That's a
Wrong
fact.
angle.
That's a fact. Knock on wood. You know what I'm saying?
But we said it at the same time.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
fact.
drink soda, so I can't tell you that.
And what a show today.
Show, man.
The real little show, man. Everything was perfect. We went 3 minutes over time, but guess what? It's overtime and it's overtime. Huh? I know it.
It's overtime,
Sometimes when I say
overtime.
stuff, it just be like, huh? I just be like, trust me, man. It's weird living in my head.
Honestly, that's okay because nobody understands it but you. That's all that matters.
Know what I mean? Just like how I don't understand the Jay-Z partnership, but that doesn't mean anything. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Tell me nothing. Ha ha.
You can't tell me
I'm
nothing.
sorry, I had to do that. I don't know.
Now that's a fact. I think that just about closes the show out tonight.
I'd say so.
Thank y'all for tuning into the Real Little Show. It's episode 41. We'll be right back next week on Thursday night, same time, 8 to 10 on the 90.5 FM airwaves. I hope you enjoyed the program.
Yes,
And guess
sir.
what? Next week, we'll be back to the next program.